Good afternoon. Today we will continue to study about a negative statement that a be-verb is applied with the adverb not to directly describe the definition of the be-verb. We will study about an interrogative clause and an appended clause, as well as the way to respond to the interrogative clause and the appended clause. To constitute a negative clause with the be-verb. The be-verb to describe the existence of the subject is described by the adverb not directly, compared to the general verb that is indirectly described by the adverb not via the description by the modal verb that occurs with the tense of the clause: did, does, do, or will. This so we can understand that the adverb not describes the definition of the general verb via the modal verb. We can understand this indirect description by the adverb not for the general verb, as the definition of the general verb is various. The opposite intent of a clause stated in the negative clause with the general verb can be in a wide range, from the existence of the subject to the experience, condition, or action that is described by the antonym of the general verb. And we can understand the way of the indirect description by the adverb not for the general verb via the modal verb did, does, do, or will. The description by the modal verb for the general verb exists because of the emphasis for the definition of the general verb. So this description by the modal verb for the general verb makes the listeners enlarge the range of the interpretation from the existence of the subject to the opposite experience, condition, or action according to the antonym of the general verb when the adverb not indirectly describes the definition of the general verb via the modal verb. The be-verb, whose fundamental definition is to describe the existence of the subject, is described by the adverb not directly. This can be understood with the fact that the opposite intent that can be delivered by a negative statement that a be-verb and the adverb not are applied is the only way that the subject does not exist. There is a clause. There is not any other option to convey the opposite intention except the non-existence of the subject. There is a clause, it is not, even though the subject indicated by the personal pronoun it exists, the speaker might want to convey the intent that the subject does not exist in the specific condition at the present when the speaker and the listeners have a conversation. The adverb not describes the be-verb to describe the existence of the subject, and the clause with the adverb not describes the non-existence of the subject. The be-verb to describe the condition of the subject with the trait of the adverb conveys the vague intention with the direct description of the adverb not. The vague intention is that the subject exists in a condition that is not indicated by the subjective complement. There is a clause stated in the present progressive tense, and the adverb not describes the definition of the be-verb directly. The be-verb, whose definition is deepened to describe the condition of the subject, including the speaker, because of the application of the adverb living, that is, in the form of the present participle. We can understand that the effect of the description by the adverb not is about the denial of the condition, not about the existence of the subject. We can say that the subjective complement is not applied in this clause. The be-verb described by the adverb not describes that the subject exists in a condition that is not indicated by the present participle living as an adverb. We can understand that the be-verb are and the present participle applied as an adverb to specify the definition of the be-verb form or phrase of a be-verb, and the adverb not is applied to change the interpretation of the phrase of the be-verb to describe the condition of the subject into the opposite condition. So the listeners can consider that the condition of the subject is any condition except the condition indicated by the present participle living. This tells us about the ambiguity that the speaker intends so the listeners can understand that the subject exists as a premise, and the subject can be in every condition except the condition described by the present participle living. We can also understand that the speaker might intend to avoid the ambiguity derived from the application of the adverb not. So we can study about the reason why the speaker prefers the positive clause. the speaker conveys the intention with a positive clause without the adverb not to avoid the ambiguity.